on Wednesday night. The Twins 3-hit and shut out the Mariners. George Kirby faced off against Joe Ryan, and the breaking balls broke the Mariners lineup, not for the first time this season. Welcome to the Dom Skeen channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. The Mariners lose 2-0, only get 3 hits themselves, while the Twins only get 4. And the Twins have a 207 expected batting average to the Mariners 186. So neither team can be too mad about losing the game from an offensive perspective, as both teams had a pretty poor night. Most pitchers in this game favor the breaking balls, especially more than most. And this is the blueprint to beat the Mariners this season. We've seen pitchers from Tyler Anderson all the way to, Framber Valdez and Lance McCullers, guys who traditionally do well at it. We've even had like a Jack Kohanowitz really frustrate the Mariners with a very basic fastball sinker approach. But basically what you have to do is just make sure that they don't get the fastball that they're waiting for. And when you look at Joe Ryan, he gets 12 swinging strikes on 93 pitches, goes primarily four-seamer 41% of the time, gets 4 swing strikes on 38 of those, but then also gets 4 on 21 sliders, 3 on 13 sweepers, 1 on 11 sinkers, then throws 8 splitters and 2 curveballs as well. But when you look at Joe Ryan and what he does, he 3-hits the Mariners. And if the Mariners had a statement game from their bullpen on Tuesday night, the Twins fired back with one of their own on Wednesday to give themselves a chance to even up the series today. And I know the game is supposed to be almost over today. It's supposed to be over today. It's supposed to start at 10:10, but it still has not started. There's a rain delay. I'm not sure if this game will be played today. I haven't heard anything pertinent to the status of this game. But the cool thing about this game is that it is game 81, or at least it would be if it was played today. It is the halfway point of the season. That will be the 81st video out of 162 I make. That will be the 81st game that the Mariners play. And we've officially reached the halfway point once this game concludes. But back to the Twins and what they did on the pitching end. Joe Ryan goes 6 innings, no runs on 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, no walks. The Twins only give up 1 walk total in this one and get 11 strikeouts. So an absolutely dominant performance from the Twins. Joe Ryan only needs 93 pitches to go 6 innings. And then you have 3 of the Twins relievers, 2 that are definitely their twin snapdragons in Griffin Jax and Yohan Duran, who did pitch the night prior, but coming in this one to shut down the close game. Each of them has an identical line on the box score, as they've got 1 inning pitched each, no runs, no hits, no walks, 1 strikeout, 9 pitches. Jax has a 3.93 ERA, and Duran has a 1.73. Duran was hit hard twice. Ryan was hit hard 5 times in his 6 innings on 93 pitches. And then Varland also recorded an inning. He pitched the 7th. 1 strikeout, 1 walk, no hits, no runs, and 17 pitches for him. And look at the Twins lineup. They didn't get a lot of the Mariners either. But the Mariners lineup had an even worse day. One of our worst days in a while. It wasn't devoid of chances. Actually, it kind of was. There's really just not much to speak about here. The only 3 Mariners that got a hit each got 1. Julio went 1 for 3. Randy went 1 for 3. Cole Young went 1 for 3. Crawford, Raleigh, Polanco, Raley, Solano, Mastroboni, and then Canzone as pinch hitter were all held hitless. Everybody struck out except for Randy, who provided a walk, didn't strike out. That was the only walk the Mariners had as well, off of Varland in the 7th. So the Mariners just struggled to get base runners overall on the night, and it's frustrating. You win the first 2 games of the series, but the offense completely halts in that 3rd game. When we've been scoring a ton of runs in June, the month of June, in the last week, 15 days, however you want to split it up prior to this. The Mariners offense has been one of the hottest in baseball, and yet here it's really sputtering. You can't read too far into it, especially considering that Joe Ryan is a top 10 to 15 starting pitcher in the league. It really kept the Mariners off balance just with his pitch mix. Not a guy who's conventional by any means. When you look at the StatCast page, it looks kind of similar to Bryce Miller. Got 6 different pitches, uses them all kind of interchangeably. But the 4-seamer for him has really just done work the past few years, and it did here as well. Looking at Kirby, he only had 6 swinging strikes on 90 pitches, but also had an excellent line. He goes 6 innings, allows 1 earned run on 3 hits, 3 strikeouts to 1 walk, 90 pitches for him, and 4 hard hits only. So Kirby did have an excellent night in terms of doing what he wanted to do on the mound, executing the blueprint that he wanted to go after. It didn't show up with excellent results, but the signs are there that he's going to be more consistent moving forward. And when you look at, he only had 4 balls that were hit hard into fair territory. Only 4 hard hits, on 90 pitches in 6 innings. He gave us a chance. And obviously, you keep the home runs off the board for 6 innings. Then Edward Bizardo, I apologize, comes in the 7th inning and sputters a little bit. 15 pitches, goes 1 inning, but gives up the run on 1 hit. Gives a homer. It's frustrating because you struck out 2 guys in that inning as well. But it is Cody Clemens for the 2nd straight day hitting a homer. And Cody Clemens, he is quietly having a pretty good season in Minnesota. Only had 138 plate appearances before, coming into today's game and after last night's game. But only 533 plate appearances overall in his career over the past 4 seasons. His season high is only 148. He's already almost seen the most pitches and had the most at bats of any season in his career. He's still he's 29 years old. A former 3rd rounder though in 2018 to the Tigers. This is a guy who has some pretty good stats even if they don't qualify yet in the percentile rankings on StatCast. But really good barrel, hard hit, average EVs, and expected stats. So him performing well against the Mariners could be just a normalization. He's been hitting well this year. A 208 average only, but 9 homers. So in those limited at-bats, he's getting quite a bit of power. And that's pretty much going to do it. We look at the game today. And the other news that happened today, by the way, is that Rowdy Tellez was officially released by the team. And after the way that Solano and Riley have been playing the past week, you feel better about that first base platoon than ever before this season. So pretty unsurprising move with Rowdy. Wish him the best. But his services are no longer needed and optimal for the team here. And as we move towards the trade deadline, been thinking more about the Ketel Marte and Cole Young trade idea that I had yesterday. And the one thing that I was talking to one of my friends I thought about was if you were to add another player from the Diamondbacks' perspective to get back more on the Seattle end and kind of balance it out, you could add in Suarez. Obviously, he's on the IL right now, but he should be coming back. And you add in Suarez because if the Diamondbacks are trading Marte, that scenario means that they're for sure no longer going to need Suarez because they're going younger. They can commit to that philosophy. The Mariners can commit to improving their lineup in the current season to compete this year, which Jerry, feeling the pressure from the fans, the front office, might, just to keep his job, might go ahead and do that. And if he does, what it means for the Mariners is that they give back more. And the same way that Ketel Marte makes it only make sense to give Cole Young back for both teams' perspective, Ben Williamson would serve the same role for Suarez. The Diamondbacks get younger, they get better contracts, the Mariners take on a lot more money, which is why it's not necessarily a realistic deal. Just considering the strategy that we use to build this team. And when you look at that, you'd be taking on quite a bit of money, but you give those two, Cole Young and Ben Williamson, as the starter, then you toss in a Harry Ford. I know Gabby Moreno's also on the IL for the Diamondbacks, but obviously a guy who any team outside of the Mariners and maybe the Orioles and one or two more would want and could find a spot for in their lineup. And then again, right, when these guys sit at AAA, when they're ready to come up, or if you trade for somebody at their position to start them, then the investment that you've been putting into this stock over time and this human being in the clubhouse and everything, it's going to be hard to reconcile that with the fact that you're now stunting that growth and that development, which you've already invested so much into. And you're seeing pretty good returns on investment, but you're hurting your own stock even if you're making a good deal from the outside. If you're bringing somebody at second or third and force those guys to a bench spot or back to AAA. They're hitting over 250. You can't ask for much more. The defense is solid, fundamental, and they're very, very good options moving forward as well. So if we want to continue to build for the future, especially if you were thinking about firing Jerry, that would be not the most win now move. It's not like some other GM is going to come in and have more money to spend or have get aggressive right away on the trade block. That would be pretty surprising. And if they did, we've seen that type of thing happen before with Bill Bavasi, even Jack Sorensic at times, and it has not worked out well. So I'm really hoping that Jerry still plays his game, stays conservative, maybe makes a deal at the last minute, but with the fact that ownership is unlikely to allow him to take on tons and tons of money. We only had $15 million to spend this offseason. It's showed up at certain points, with Polanco and Solano now, but it also hasn't in other areas. And the team definitely could use, a spark plug from the trade block. You're going to have to be budget friendly again and get a Solano or a Wong or a Polanco, unless you're able to take on double-digit $1 million, which is something that Jerry hasn't been able to do in a single contract in over a year, and dating back to Mitch Garver at this point. That's the last double-digit $1 million contract that we gave to a hitter outside of our team. So that's going to do it for today. We'll hopefully play this game today. Otherwise, it'll be tough to fit into the schedule later. Can just increase the load on the players and the team. But hopefully we can get out of Minnesota having finished this 4-game series for one. And it would be awesome if we could win it as well. Maybe there will be a time during the day. I'm going to check right now. If maybe the weather will clear up in Minnesota and they will try to play play enough innings where they can get this game in the books somehow. Twins Mariners, delayed. Still nothing yet. And let's see. Do we have any news? Let me know in the comments if you see any news about this game. And hopefully at last report, hopefully getting started at 2:30 p.m. our time. So maybe 30 minutes from now this game starts. Maybe it looks like it's not going to stop raining today. Unfortunately, the Astros just won. Hunter Brown did pitch again, a gem, went 7 innings again this year. Yeah, so we might still play today, but it's going to be late over there. It's going to be a really late night for the team. And hopefully they can get out of there at a reasonable time tonight. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow to recap the first half of the season. Go Ems.